Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Bhagavati Vasudha Devidasi from Mangalore, India. Please forgive me for stopping all of you from ecstatic chanting. Let us move on to the next part of the session. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name given by Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures and pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. So once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. Let us move on to the next part of the session, that is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all are joining the call today?
हरे कृष्ण भगवती वसुधा माता जी. दंडवत प्रणाम. शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. गुरु महाराज की जय. प्रीति दासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण. राम 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 राम.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. A small announcement: if somebody did not sign up for Gita recital tomorrow for the advent of Gita, the link will be shared in the chat box. Please do sign up for the slot. In the last minute, it will be hard that you will say that, oh, I did not sign up, Mataji, I do join every day. Yes, please. That's why we are announcing again and again. Please do sign up for the Gita reading. I'll be sharing the link in the chat box. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devidasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna Yashamati Priya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, and all the glories to the assembled devotees. This is Manshri Leela Devidasi from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Manjari Leela Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji.
Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. Hare Krishna. And
Hare Krishna Bhagavati. Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. This is Sushmita from Canada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Susmita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. Hare Krishna. And I also heard Valli Mataji. Hare Krishna Valli Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Humble obeisance to everyone in the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, D16, my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shama Guri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shyama Gauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. Is there anyone who would like to introduce in the call today? I welcome all of you once again. Thank you everyone for joining today's Bhaktisangha Conference call. Today we are really fortunate to have His Grace Gaur Villas Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 7.13.20 to 21. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to hand over the call to Susmita Mataji for the brief introduction. Hare Krishna Mataji, over to you.
Hare Krishna Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are so fortunate to have His Grace Gaur Villas Prabhuji as our speaker today. Prabhuji came to Krishna consciousness in 2004. He earned a MBBS degree from Grant Medical College. Gaurvilas Prabhuji joined the ashram in 2010 and he was initiated as a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2012. Prabhuji preaches in various medical and engineering colleges. He also conducts programs for doctors at Bhakti Vedanta Hospital and in corporate environments. He is a teacher of Bhakti Sastri and Bhakti Vaibhava courses. He also conducts congregational programs in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Gaurvilas Prabhuji has done through studies of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you, Mataji. Here was the brief introduction of Prabhuji. Now I will hand over the call to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
That brief introduction. Looks like Prabhuji is yet to join. Till then, anybody would like to introduce themselves, we can do that.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all the devotees. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. All glories to Ashram devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Mataji for joining Bhaktisangha Conference call. I think Prabhuji is joined. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Prabhuji for giving your valuable time and association in this Bhaktisangha Conference call. Today's verse is 7.13.20 and 21. So we just done with the introduction, Prabhuji. You can start with the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you all the devotees for this opportunity to serve. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश धारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We are continuing today we'll be discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 13, Text 20 and 21. So this chapter is entitled The Behavior of a Perfect Person. So we'll recite the verse 20. Sri Narada Uvacha Saitam Daityapatina Pariprishto Mahamunihi Sumayamanastamabhyaha Tadvag Amritayantritaha. Translation. Narad Muni continued. And the saintly person was thus questioned by Prahlad Maharaj, the king of the Daityas. He was captivated by this shower of nectarian words, and he replied to the inquisitiveness of Prahlad Maharaj with a smiling face. Verse number 21. The saintly Brahmana said, O best of the Asuras, Prahlad Maharaj, who are recognized by advanced and civilized men, you are aware of the different stages of life because of your inherent transcendental eyes, with which you can see a man's character and thus know clearly the results of acceptance and rejection of things as they are. Purport. A pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj can understand the minds of others because of his pure vision in devotional service. A devotee like Prahlad Maharaj can study another man's character without difficulty. Hare Krishna. So this is a very, very instructive section going on where Prahlad Maharaj, as he is roaming in his kingdom, he meets a saintly person who had accepted the, vritti of a python that is called as Ajgara Vritti. So Ajgara Vritti means just like the python lies down and whatever comes, he accepts that. Similarly, this person, he had accepted this Ajgara Vritti. Whatever would come of its own accord, he would accept it. And he would not endeavor. He would not just move around asking any alms, just depending on the Lord. And Prahlad Maharaj was surprised to see that he was really fat and plump. That means he was really eating nicely. He was getting lots of food. So Prahlad Maharaj, he asked wonderful questions. And in this verse, starting from 21st, this saintly Brahman, he is replying. So Prahlad Maharaj, so far, he has asked about, the various things, how you are, why you have accepted this, way of just lying down, and still you are, getting nourished properly. So how is it? So Prahlad Maharaj, as he is asking all these wonderful questions, you are not doing any endeavor, but still you are really nourished. And you appear very, very learned, intelligent. And you are speaking also very well, because this person, he welcomed Prahlad and all his soldiers nicely. So therefore, he is asking, can you tell me the reason? So here in 21st verse, this Brahmana is replying. This Ajgara Vritti, we hear about Madhavendra Puri also. Sorry, not Ajgar. He had practiced Ayachaka Vritti, not asking anyone. Ajgar Vritti means sitting at one place, not moving around also. And Ayachaka Vritti means not asking anyone. So this Brahmana, he had accepted Ajgara Vritti. And here he is very beautifully, speaking to Prahlad Maharaj. And he says, you are aware of all the different stages of life because of your inherent transcendental eyes. A devotee develops a transcendental vision. Srila Prabhupada would always tell that we see the world according to the specs we are wearing. And there is another statement. We don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. Depending on what our consciousness is, we see the world. And a person who has transcendental vision, he knows where to find the essence, how to see the world in right consciousness. And that's why Prahlad Maharaj, he could very, very easily understand that this personality, he is not an ordinary personality. Although he was not so famous, just lying down at one place, but still, Prahlad could understand because he had transcendental vision. So this vision decides how we will see the world. Scriptures and all our acharyas, they always tell we have to develop Shastra Chakshu, the vision based on scriptures. We should learn to see the world not through our eyes, but through our ears. That means we should see the world based on what scriptures tell about it. Otherwise, if we are not seeing the world as scriptures tell us, then it is bound to bewilder us. When we see the glamour of the world, when we see so many wonderful things happening in the world, the veil of illusion is so powerful that we may start thinking, well, it is not so bad. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Samsara lagi lobhalo. The world looks very sweet, very good. What is the problem? That's the veil of illusion. But when we read scriptures, then we realize, oh, Krishna says this world is Dukhalaya, and I am looking around the world and it seems that it is full of happiness. Why there is some such contradiction? Then we start searching. Then we start going deeper behind the veil of the illusion. Maya javanika channam agyadokshajam vyayam nalakshase moodadrisha nato natya dharavayatha. The person is covered by the veil of Maya. Maya javanika. Javanika means the curtain. The foolish person cannot understand this. Agya adhokshajam abhyam. He is bewildered. He is not realizing that behind this veil of illusion, there is only suffering. So a person who is afflicted, is covered by the illusion, can't see actually what this world is and also can't see Krishna. They see the world as very attractive. And they see Krishna as something or someone who is imaginary. Avajananti mama mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mamapyayamanuttamam. They don't realize, they don't understand. Avajananti, don't understand. They are foolish that I am the Supreme Lord. So the more we are purified, the more our heart becomes suitable for accepting good advices. Just like Prahlad, he has seen Krishna. Krishna personally appeared only for him. He is a self-realized, pure devotee of the Lord. Still, he is humble enough to ask this person who is not so famous like Prahlad, because his heart is suitable for accepting good advice. That is the whole process of spiritual life. We see in Bhagavatam, many places, if a person is not purified, can't accept the good advice. Here Prahlad is going and asking such a person who is practically unknown, not such a apparently great devotee, but Prahlad had that vision. Therefore, he is asking, please instruct me. On the other side, we see in the third canto, Dhritarashtra. So many people came and told him that just throw this son of yours out of this palace. This Duryodhan will be the cause of the destruction of your dynasty. Vidurji told him, Saesha dosha purushas vidaste grihan pravishto yamapatya matya Kushna Shri Krishna Vimukha Gata Shri Tyajatya Shaivam Kulakaushalaya. Just give up this son of yours. He is sin personified. He is a result of your sin of your millions of lives. And on top of that, he is envious of Krishna. Purushas Dvid Aste. He is envious of Purusha, Supreme Lord. And he has entered your house. And you are thinking that he is my son and you are nourishing him. Ushna Shri Krishna, Vimukha Gatashri, Are, Lakshmi will turn her face away from you. Akruji came and told Dhritarashtra, now please return the kingdom. So many good advices. Dhritarashtra says, all your good advice is like thunderbolt, lightning in the sky. It illuminates the darkness of my heart for some moments, few seconds, and then again it is gone. Vidurji is telling again and again, just see who is there. Krishna is there on their side. Parthastu Devo Bhagavan Mukundo. He is Bhagavan Mukunda. He is the Deva. He is the friend of Pandavas. He is the best of all the Yadus. He is the Supreme Lord himself. And he has already defeated unlimited kings. And he is on the side of Pandavas. But still, it was not going in the heart of this foolish Dhritarashtra. That is how, if a heart is not suitable, full of devotion, then whatever good advice we may get, it will not go from ears to head and from head to heart. Either it will fall in deaf ears or it will just evaporate from our mind. It requires a heart full of humility. This humility is the patra that makes our heart suitable for accepting good advices. And because Prahlad, he is so very humble, he is approaching such a practically insignificant person. Because he could see that no, he is not an ordinary person. By his features, he could understand that he is a great personality. In fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the story of Daksha, Shiva, and Parvati, when Sati, when Sati is telling Lord Shiva, please, let's go and attend this yajna, this huge sacrifice arranged by my father. And Lord Shiva is telling, please don't go, he has not invited you. Oh, we don't need invitation to go our family member's place. He's my father. But Lord Shiva says, well, he's your father, but he'll not welcome you. You'll be insulted. She says, why he'll insult me? He's such a learned person. Then Lord Shiva speaks of very, very important words. Vidya tapo vitta vapu vayo kulai satam gunai shadvira sattametara smritau hatayam vritamana durdrisha stabdhana pashyanti hidhama bhuyasam. He says, a person who has vidya, knowledge, tapa, who is austere, vidya tapo vitta, who is very wealthy, vaya, who is very youthful, kula, who is born in high family, vidya tapo vitta vapu vayo kulai, stata, these are all saintly qualities. But if these qualities manifest in a person who is not humble, smritau hatayam hritamana durdrisha, if a person who is stabdha, who is impudent, who is stubborn, who is not humble, his good intelligence will be stolen by all these qualities. He'll become proud. And a proud person cannot see the good qualities in other saintly people. Stabdhana pashyanti hi dhama bhuyasam, dhama bhuyasam. The qualities of good people, saintly people, are not seen by such arrogant, proud person. But Prahlad, we can see in this, so very humbly asking. And this saintly Brahmana could understand. He could see that Prahlad is so very humble. He had that transcendental vision. You know. That's why he is ready to hear good advice. He is ready to hear instructions. Dhritarashtra was not ready to hear good instructions. In fact, Mahabharata describes there are two trees, the tree of dharma and tree of adharma. Who is a tree of dharma? Yudhishthira dharma mayo mahadruma skandha arjuna bhimasena shakha madri sutau pushpa phale samriddhe moolam toham brahmacha brahmanascha. Krishna is himself telling this verse. He says, Yudhishthir is a tree of dharma. Arjuna is a trunk. Bhim is the first branches. And Nakula Sahadev, they are the flowers and the fruits. Who is the root of this tree of dharma? Aham brahmacha brahmanacha. Krishna is saying, I am the root. Scriptures are the root. And the saintly people are the root. And then there is a tree of adharma. Who is the tree of adharma? Duryodhana Manyumayo Mahadruma. Who is the trunk of this tree? Skanda Karna Shakunistasya Shakha Dushashana Pushpa Phale Samriddhe. Karna is a trunk, Duryodhana is a tree, Karna is a trunk, Shakuna is a branch, Dushashana is the flowers and the fruits. You know who is the root of this tree? Moolam Raja Dhritarashtra Manishi. Dhritarashtra is the root of this tree of adharma. So person who is the root of the tree of adharma, how can he hear something good advice? Based on what is our consciousness, we will respond to the good advices. Our consciousness defines our responses. You know. Here Prahlad is such a humble devotee. He is responding in such a wonderful way when he's seeing such a saintly person, so-called, people were not understanding that he's a learned person. He was lying down at one place. He appeared like a foolish person, dumb man. But Prahlad, he had the consciousness of humility. He had the consciousness full of devotion for the Lord, for the saintly people he could understand. He had the transcendental eyes. As this verse is saying, you are aware of different stages of life because of your inherent transcendental eyes, with which you can see a man's character and know clearly the results of acceptance and rejection of things as they are. So our consciousness is so very important. It is our only treasure we have, our consciousness. We have to be really careful to protect our consciousness. In this world full of negativity, full of passion and ignorance, where so many things are going wrong, it is very, very easy and natural to get absorbed in such discussions. Somebody is destroying our culture, our religion, and as devotees, we are always confused how much we should do, how much we should be aware of the realities of the world, and how much we should be absorbed in Krishna. Because the more we get absorbed in the realities of the world, trying to know more and more about the realities of the world, the modes of passion and ignorance will absorb our consciousness. Our consciousness is our treasure. We have to be very careful where we are investing it. If we invest our consciousness in wrong ways, then we'll become bankrupt. It's like the person is, putting his money in the wrong shares, wrong stocks. He'll be bankrupt. We have to be really careful where we are investing our consciousness. Because it is so very natural to be absorbed, to be having that, itch. I want to know what is happening in the world. And we all know now the things are not so good. The reality of the world is not so favorable. Many people are destroying the culture and religion. And as a practicing devotee, what should be our response? How much we should hear and read about these things? We have to be really careful. We should always align ourselves with the words and thoughts of our founder Acharya. Otherwise, it is so very easy to get absorbed in negativity of the world. And the more a person is absorbed in the negativity of the world, one cannot think of Krishna. One cannot cultivate a heart full of love for Krishna. Because because if the heart is full of negativity for people of the world, for some people, for some section, it's so very difficult to get absorbed in Krishna. We have to be really, really careful, where we are investing our consciousness. Because our consciousness will ultimately define our responses. If we are repeatedly reading some negative news, if we are repeatedly hearing and seeing something negative which is happening in the world, then by default, that will only go in our subconscious state. And we all have heard, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude. What attitude we are cultivating? When problems come in our life, how we are responding? Some people respond in political way. Some people respond emotional way. But we, the followers of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, we should learn to respond in a devotional way. Emotional way means, oh, I keep crying, oh, why these things are happening in my life, why these things are happening in the world. Political way, I will take revenge. I will also do the, needful, tit for tat. But where in Bhagavatam we have seen the devotees behaving in political way? They always responded in devotional way. They never ever used political responses. You have to be really careful. Bhagavatam is full of examples showing us what is to be done and what is not to be done. Otherwise, our treasure will be lost. We have our life, which is just very short. And we have to be really careful where we are investing our every second, every minute. Because the more we start going into the things of the world, already we have less time with us. And the mind is so very, it's like a blotting paper. You put something, just put an ink pen on paper. That's it. It will start soaking everything. Our mind is like that. You put anything negative, it will soak very fast. So we have to be really careful. Disgust and attachment, they're both the sides of the same coin. Raga dvesha vimuktaistu vishayan indriyaischaran atma vashay vidheyatma prasadam madhigacchati. Krishna says, give up raga and dvesha. One should not be envious or disgusted or attached. Both these are the extremes. If we allow our mind and consciousness to either get attached or be envious or disgusted, it will not be favorable for Krishna consciousness. People like Dhritarashtra who are attached. Whatever is happening, I want to make my son king. They're actually bringing destruction in their life, just like a moth entering fire. You have to be really careful. This is another side of the same coin. Bhagavatam gives examples of various devotees who showed us how to show devotional response, how to take good counsel, how to accept good advices. And why they could accept good advices? Because they were in right consciousness. Because their minds were not full of passion and the things which are happening in the world. They never showed political response, which is so very natural in today's age. One has to develop the quality where we can become devotional in our consciousness. The world around us is pushing us to become political. We have to become devotional. And that quality will come when we associate with people who have devotional consciousness. Knowingly or unknowingly, even as the devotees, followers of our society, externally we may speak like devotional response, but we may cherish those political responses. So we have to really, on a periodic basis, we have to keep inventory of our hearts. Where I am investing my consciousness, what I am contemplating on, what I am hearing, what I am seeing. Am I seeing about things of the world more? Or am I seeing Bhagavatam more? Because if we are not seeing Bhagavatam more, reading Bhagavatam more, naturally the mind likes to, see something. And the topics of the world are really attractive for the mind. And Dhruva was disgusted with what happened with him. His mother Suruchi, stepmother Suruchi, she told, "Oh Dhruva, if you want to sit on the lap of your father, you have to take birth from my womb." That means she's telling Dhruva, you die, you worship Lord Shri Vishnu, and die and take birth from my womb. Such piercing words. What was the response of Suniti then? That is mind-blowing. Suniti knew that this is complete injustice happening. She didn't make a human cry out of it. How she responded? Very, very instructive. She didn't tell Dhruva what to do. Your stepmother is like this only. She will suffer the results of her activities. Don't worry, my son, my child. She didn't say that. What she said? She said two things. Dhruva, don't think ill about a person who has hurt you or who has done harm to you. So very difficult. And second, she says, please don't blame the instrument of your karma. Third thing she says, whatever you want, O Dhruva, go to Lord Vishnu. And it was credit of Dhruva. He could accept the instructions of his mother. And ultimately he approached Narad Muni. He went to the forest and there Lord sent Narad Muni. So if we want to cultivate this suitable consciousness, first of all, we should have good association. If we have association of saintly people, we will also give devotional response. Otherwise, it is so very easy to get absorbed in the political response. That was Dhruva, he wanted. He wanted to give a political response. I want a kingdom greater than my great-grandfather. Padam Tribhuvan Krishnam Jigisho Sadhu Vartmame. I want that. But it was credit of Suniti. She gave right perspective. Another quality which is needed to accept good instructions, practice devotional service without offenses. That is very important. If we are not practicing bhakti without offenses, offensive bhakti actually destroys our devotion. If we are offending devotees, if we are offending deities, if we are constantly chanting inattentive rounds, it will be very, very difficult. Of course, inattentive rounds is another thing. But if we are offending devotees, then we will have to suffer. Rahugana, when he met Jad Bharat, when he realized that this Jad Bharat is not an ordinary person, he must be a great sage. The first thing he said, Naham Vishanke Suraraj Vajran Natyarksha Nayamasya Dandat Nagnina Soma Nilavitta Pastrat Shanke Bhisham Brahmakulabhamana. He says, I don't fear the thunderbolt of Indra, Suraraj Vajran, Natyarksha Shulan, Nayamasya Dandat. I don't fear the Yamadanda. I don't fear the weapon of Agni, Somadev, Vayudev. Then, what do I fear? I fear offending devotees. I fear offending Brahmanas. Shanke Brisham Brahma Kula Avamanat. If we are offensive, good instructions will not sink in our heart. Offenses make our heart steel-framed, as Kaviraj Goswami describes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna naam kore aparadhira vichar, Krishna bolile aparadhira na hoye vikar. When we chant and we do offenses, Krishna bolile aparadhira na hoye vikar. The ecstatic symptoms will not manifest in our heart. And then Kaviraj Goswami quotes a verse from Bhagavatam. Tadashmasaram hridayam batedam yad grihyamane harinamadheya. Ashmasaram. When we offend devotees, when we practice bhakti and we offend devotees, our heart becomes steel-framed. Ashmasaram, it is a steel-framed heart. And in that steel-framed heart, how will the sentiments of devotion grow? Eka Krishna Nam Kore Sarva Papanash, Premera Karana Bhakti Kore Na Prakash. One name is sufficient to destroy all the sins and to give rise to love of God. Premera udar hoye, premera vikar, Shveda kampa pulakadi, gadgad ashruthar. And the symptoms of ecstasy will arise in the heart. Shveda, kampa, romancha, ashru. All the symptoms, hair standing on end, tears, hair standing, tears, and then sweating, and then choking of the voice, changing of the skin color. But Hena Krishna Nama Yadi Laye Bahubar Tabu Yadi Prem Nahe Ashrudhar. Still, even after chanting the names for a long, long time, still we are not developing this ecstatic symptoms. So why? Abhejani aparad tahate prachur Krishna Nama bijata na kore ambur. We should know that our bhakti is full of offenses. That's why the seed of devotion is not growing. So we have to be really careful. If we want to make our hearts suitable to accept good advices, we should practice bhakti without offenses, offending devotees. It is like a mattahati aparadh, allowing a mad elephant in a beautiful garden full of flowering plants Allow one mad elephant to enter, entire garden will be destroyed. Offenses are so very powerful. Daksha, he offended Lord Shiva in the first Manvantar, and he again appeared. He did tapasya for 5 Manvantars. Again in the 6th Manvantar, after doing tapasya, the Lord who has attention of the Lord himself has given action to that person, but because he offended Lord Shiva in the beginning, again in the 6th Manvantar he offended Narada. That is the power of Vaishnava Prana. It doesn't go so easily. The effects are so very powerful. That's why it is said the difference between papa and aparadha. Pap is like dhuli lepa. Dhuli lep means you write something on the sand. Oh, it is so very easy to erase it. You write something on the stone, it is very difficult to erase it. That's why you have to be really careful to practice bhakti without offenses. Another quality which is needed to make our hearts suitable for accepting good advices, mercy of devotees. Without mercy of devotees, we can't do anything. Wherever we are, whatever we are now, it is all mercy of devotees. If somebody thinks, no, I deserved it. I was about to become a devotee. By chance, that devotee gave me that book. That means we have not acknowledged and understood the importance of devotees in our life. The mercy of devotees is the foremost important thing. Guru Krishna Kripa Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. It is Kripa. When the prostitute went to Haridas Thakur, she had no intention to chant. She had come to destroy the fame and reputation of Haridas Thakur. And she just came and she says, "Oh Haridas, you are so young and beautiful, and I want to enjoy with you. Please satisfy me." Haridas, you know what he says? Haridas kahe toma korimu angikar sankhya naam samapti yadi na hoye amar. I'll accept you, but there is one problem. My chanting is not yet over. What to do? तावत वशिषुन तुम्ही नाम संकीर्तन कीर्तन नाम समाप्ति होइले करिमु ते तोमार मन. You just sit on the door and then you just hear. As soon as I finish my chanting, I will do whatever you want. Can you imagine? Haridas Thakur was aware why this lady has come, why that prostitute had come. He was aware. He tells her on the 3rd day. First day she is gone, night went by, chanting is not getting over. She left. She comes on the 2nd day. She comes on the 3rd day. And what she is doing? Tulsi ratta ke vaishya namaskara kori, dware vashi nama shuni bole hari hari. She's standing at the gate and she is taking darshan of Tulasi, and just to mock Haridas, she is also in between chanting Hari Hari. But that Hari Hari purified her. That hearing from a pure devotee purified her. And 3rd day, finally, what happened? Kirtan karite aiche ratri shesha hoila, ठाकुरेर सने वैश्यार मन फिरी गेला. Kirtan karite aiche ratri shesha hoila. Night ended. And Haridas Thakur, now, he told, now my chanting is over. But by that time, what had happened? Thakurera sane vaishyara mana phiri gela. She came to seduce the mind of Haridas. The power of Haridas Thakur was so much that he purified her mind. Thakurer sane vaishyara mana phiri gela. And then this lady, she surrenders. She says, I have taken the profession of this prostitute. I am so sinful. I have performed so many sinful activities. Now, oh my Lord, please be merciful to me, deliver me. And Haridas Thakur says, I already knew it. He says, Teen din rahila tuma nistara lagiya. I stayed for 3 days just to deliver you. It was all mercy of Haridas Thakur that ultimately she could get good instructions. She could accept the good instructions of Haridas Thakur. So the mercy of devotees is required at every step of her life. And she became such a great devotee. She accepted whatever Haridas Thakur told her. He told her, you have whatever money you have acquired from your sinful activities, just distribute it among the Brahmanas. Just wear one simple cloth. Stay here, and I am leaving now. You come and you sit in front of Tulsi, chant 3 lakh names. She did it. That is the mercy of a great devotee. She could wholeheartedly accept the instructions of Haridas Thakur. Prasiddha Vaishnavi hoila parama mahanti bada bada Vaishnavatara darshane te anti. She became such a great devotee that Mahatmas were coming and taking her darshan. Bada bada Vaishnavatara darshane te anti. So by the mercy of the devotees, we can also develop consciousness, a receptive consciousness to accept good advices. And because of such wonderful consciousness, the devotees, they give right responses. They accept good instructions. If we have mercy of devotees, then we will accept good advices. Otherwise, it's so very difficult. If we are living a life without offending devotees, then we will be able to accept advices. And then we'll give good responses. Lord has put his devotees in different situations. In Bhagavatam, we have heard many examples. So many devotees, they went through different situations so that they could show by their example what is the best response. When Yudhishthira, he was bewildered. And in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjun was bewildered. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, at the end of Kurukshetra, Yudhishthira was bewildered. Oh, all this massacre has happened because of me. I am responsible. I don't want to become the king. I am leaving. Then Bhishma, then Krishna took all the Pandavas to Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma, he gave wonderful instructions. The entire section of Mahabharata, Bhishma Parva, gives such wonderful instructions on various aspects of life. So Krishna puts his devotees in various situations where they can give their wonderful response and entire world can get benefited. Arjun was put in difficulty so that Bhagavad Gita could be spoken. Tomorrow is Mokshada Ekadashi, the day on which Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Why? Not just for Arjun. It was for everyone. For our sake. Why Parikshit Maharaj was put in difficulty? So that Bhagavatam can be spoken. Why Dhruva was put in that situation? So that he could ultimately show what is ideal devotee behavior. So that's why, Krishna puts his devotees in such situations so that we can understand how to give best responses. And actually, Krishna likes to, put his devotees in such situations. Why? He likes to glorify his devotees. Snigdha pravridaganashyamam sarva saundarya sangraham Charvayat Chaturbahu Sujata Ruchirananam. The beautiful form of all beauty. You know what is the most beautiful aspect of Krishna? Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport of this verse. The most beautiful aspect of Krishna is he likes to give credit to his devotees. He likes to glorify his devotees. That's why he puts them in certain situations so that they may give best response and they'll be glorified. We can see Bhishma, he is on the bed of arrows. And he is speaking such wonderful philosophy. That is the power of a great devotee. And that's what Krishna wants to show to the world. And we fall sick. We don't even feel like speaking a word. Or just leave me alone. I want to take rest. Bhishma, he's on the bed of arrows. And he's speaking such wonderful philosophy. Krishna wanted to show to the world, this is my devotee. Srila Prabhupada was like that. You're so courageous. You're so caring for the conditioned souls. One time Srila Prabhupada was with his disciples in Kolkata. And they went to Victoria Memorial. And Prabhupada was telling to all his disciples, you know, when I was young, I was in freedom fighting movement. I had climbed on this Victoria Memorial and we were shouting slogans. So one of the disciples said, Prabhupada, you are very brave. Prabhupada said, I am still very brave. Going to your country at the age of 70, what do you think it is? Is it not an act of bravery? So great devotees, they always show by their behavior how one should respond. Lord is showing to the whole world the consciousness of his great devotees. When they see somebody who is so very wonderful, elevated, they are eager to get instructions from them, just like Narad Muni. When they're in difficult, just like Prahlad Maharaj here. He is eager to hear from a person who is apparently not a very famous devotee, an unknown person. But because his heart is full of devotion, his mind is full of Krishna, he can see, no, this devotee is very, very elevated. Krishna must be taking care of this devotee, otherwise it is not possible to survive like this. That is a power. Krishna shows by his various devotees. Srila Prabhupada, even at the time of the death, he was translating purports till the last moment of his life. Nauttama shloka vartanam jushatam tat kathamritam syat sambhramanta kalepi smartam tat padam bhujam. Now, uttama shloka varta jushatam. Whoever is always absorbed in speaking the wonderful pastimes of Krishna, na syat sambhrama. They will never go into confusion. Antakalepi, even at the time of death. That is the ideal which is there in front of us. And we can achieve that example, that ideal. It is not that to Bhagavatam. These are all Bhagavatam stories. They are all pure devotees. What to do? I am a fallen conditioned soul. So these stories are good to hear, but what can be done? I to sleep while I chant. In Bhagavatam, when Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudha happens, I go to sleep. When Mahaprasade Govinda happens, I get up. This is my state, what to do? But still, wherever we are, we should know this is the ideal where we have to reach. However fallen we may be, but we should know our ideals. Otherwise, the world around us, just full of distraction, full of passion and ignorance, it will just abduct our consciousness. And the mind which is full of such negative thoughts, it is so very difficult to focus on Krishna. Bhagavatam is full of examples of devotees who gave wonderful responses. Srila Prabhupada, by his whole life, he had shown how to give best response. Till last days he was translating. He was expert in giving wonderful responses. One time one person came and he was challenging Prabhupada. So since you are the guru and you know everything, can you tell me how many windows are there in the Empire State Building? So Prabhupada replied, how much water is in the mirage? Prabhupada said, it is not so significant to know how many windows are there in the Empire State Building. We should know what is significant for our life. In another place in Portland, Prabhupada was giving a talk, and a lady, she was there attending, and she had a child. Child was crying, and everybody was looking at this lady. Prabhupada told, can you please take the child out? So this lady, she was a little offended. She said, Swamiji, is the child disturbing you? Prabhupada said, no, the child is not disturbing me. It is disturbing you and everyone else. That was Prabhupada, expert in giving good responses. Another time, Prabhupada was speaking, he was giving a class, and one lady, it is in India, she raised her hand and said, Swamiji, have you seen Krishna? Prabhupada said, well, are you not seeing Krishna? Krishna is everywhere. Can't you see? So this lady was really overwhelmed. She was not expecting such response. Prabhupada continued, well, can't you see Krishna? He's everywhere. He's in every atom. And she was like thinking what to do. And then Prabhupada said, do you want to see Krishna? And by this time, this lady was so overwhelmed. She said, no, Swamiji, I don't want to see Krishna. Prabhupada said, that's why you can't see Krishna, because you don't want to see Krishna. So Prabhupada was expert in giving wonderful responses. Wonderful. In the same question, he would give different answers depending on the consciousness of the person. Because Prabhupada was full of Krishna. He knew which is the best answer in that situation. Shukdev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj, Samyak vyavasita buddhi tavarajarshi sattama vasudeva kathayam te tajjata naishtigirati. He said, oh Parikshit, because you have such wonderful naishtiki rati, attachment for Krishna's name, form, pastimes, your intelligence is fixed. You know how to give your wonderful response. That's what we have to cultivate, ultimately. We may be knowing a little bit about the things which are happening in the world, but we should align ourselves with the authorities. What is their response? We should not be so interested in giving our responses, our opinions in the world matters. We should be interested in absorbing our mind in Krishna more, Bhagavatam more. If the mind is soaked in thoughts of Krishna, then it is conducive for advancing Krishna consciousness. Krishna Bhakti Siddhantagan Yate Prafulla Padmavan Tara Madhukarya Swadan Prema Rasa Kumudavane Prafullita Ratri Dine Tate Charao Mano Bhringagan. So Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna Bhakti Siddhanta, it is like a full-blown lotus. It is a garden full of flowers, fully blown flowers. Yate Prafulla Padmavan, please drink the nectar of these lotus flowers. Tate Charao Mano Bhringagam, he compares the mind with the swan and with the honeybee. So that's how we have to always absorb ourselves in Krishna Katha, be in the right mood, be very careful not to get distracted by the negativity of the world. Then we'll be able to find good people, good devotees, and take their association, hear from them, and absorb their consciousness and advance. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this very, very wonderful class. Very nicely you took us through the internal aspects of a devotee, which is very important, where we have to cultivate ourselves. It doesn't happen in overnight. Regularly hearing from you all devotees. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
I
I'm just
request,
repeating what.
yes, Prabhuji, it's helping along. Dear
Any question?
devotees, you have any questions, you can raise your hand or you can ask them. Prabhuji, by then I have one question. We were talking about the aparadas, we should be very careful, but sometimes devotees will not take aparadas, and if we felt that we are hurt or something, it is easy to forgive because devotees should not take, but how to forget?
How to forget? Yeah, forgive is okay. See, in our conditions, in our current state, if we are hurt, we may not be able to forget immediately, but we should not focus on that much. We should not focus on what other devotees did with us. We should try to focus on what we are doing to come close to Krishna. Because the more we think about what wrong happened with us, we'll go into negativity. We may not forget it completely because our mind never deletes any thoughts. We can't forget it completely. But it is a question of focusing on something. If we are repeatedly reminding ourselves and focusing, oh, this devotee did this to me, why she did that, why he did that, then we are, as they say, making a big thing out of a small. So we have to be really careful. Mind likes conflicts. Mind likes negativity. Mind likes negativity is more than positivity. So we have to be really careful where to invest our consciousness. We can never forget anything in our life. It is all permanent file. But we can choose what to focus on. And whatever we focus on, whatever we try to remember, that becomes more prominent in our conscious mind. Other things will go in the subconscious mind. All our thoughts, all our impressions, all our experiences, they'll be there in our subconscious mind. But if we are focusing on that, they'll come up in the conscious mind. And our conscious mind then frames our unconscious mind. Whatever we put in our mind consciously, that makes a script which is stored in our unconscious mind or subconscious mind. And based on those scripts, in the future we act. If we are constantly thinking of the bad things which has happened with us, unknowingly we will also do the same thing with others, because the negativity pushes us to do the same thing. Oh, this devotee did this with me. Why he did or she did? And then that comes in our words, comes in our actions. So it is a practice we have to make to focus on Krishna more. Always remember that there must be a plan of Krishna. Of course, that doesn't mean that we allow ourselves to be exploited by neophyte devotees, those who are not so good in their standing. We have to be very careful not to not get exploited. Because if our mind is always disturbed, then we'll not be able to focus on Krishna. At the same time, we don't focus on what wrongs others have done to us. We have to be really focusing on these aspects, focusing on Krishna, mercy of Krishna, and not focusing on what wrongs have happened. That is how we will become more peaceful in our mind. And if we are not peaceful, then we will not be able to focus on Krishna. A disturbed mind can't focus on Krishna. And the more we are thinking about the wrong things, the more we will be disturbed. So ultimately, we are we are at the losing end. It is just like it is always said: if we are harboring ill feelings towards someone, if we are thinking, "Oh, this person did this," it is like holding a coal in our hands, burning coal. Before hitting someone, we are getting burned. Our consciousness is getting exploited. So we have to be really careful. The negativity around us really fills our mind with all the thoughts of passion, negative feelings towards some people, some religion. Do the needful, don't get exploited, but don't think about those things much. Don't see those things. Don't see the atrocities others have done. It simply consumes our consciousness. That is very important. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, there is one hand raised. Alicia Israni Mataji, you can please ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji mentioned about Vaishnava Prad, but sometimes it's quite obvious that some devotees might not be following the standard, and we may not do aparadh as such, but in our mind, it feels like this path seems a bit I mean, if they can't make it, then probably even I have little chance of attaining perfection. So how do we not judge as well as maintain our standard and uh, keep the aim high?
Whenever we see some devotee doing something wrong, making some mistake, rather than directly correcting that devotee, we should first understand, are we in a position of correcting that devotee? Or if I correct that devotee, will that devotee listen? Is it the right time? Is it the right place? Is it the right way? And there is art of giving feedback. We should not be concerned about everything happening around us. We should not take the charge of correcting all the devotee, thinking that if I will not correct him, who will correct? We should not take the responsibility of correcting and rectifying the entire world of Krishna consciousness. We should know what is our limit, where to focus on. People are at a different level of their consciousness. We should not get bewildered because people are not able to follow the ideal standards of Krishna consciousness. It is not such an easy path. Everybody is work in progress. Inconvenience, regret it. We should not so much get disturbed when we see people doing wrong things. If we can do something to help them, do it. If we can't, we should not think he is such a senior devotee and he is doing this, she is doing this. What is hope for me? No problem, there is hope for everyone. Krishna consciousness is the most auspicious path. It is a path full of hope. We should never lose our hope. That is the difference between a neophyte devotee and a pure devotee. Asha bandha. Neophyte devotee thinks, oh, this is not for me. Forget. A pure devotee or advanced devotee never ever leaves hope. Always hopeful. No problem, I may fall down many times, but still I'll continue. Navai jano jatu katanchana brajen mukunda sevyanya vadanga samsritim Smarana mukundangri upaguhanam puna vihatumiche narasagraho jana. Bhagavatam describes, first canto, 5th chapter, Narad Muni is telling, path of bhakti is so very powerful. Even if one falls down, one can't stay fallen for long. He'll come back again. She'll come back again. Krishna mercifully drags the devotee back. Srila Prabhupada writes a very interesting line in Nectar of Instruction. And Krishna consciousness is so wonderful that one is forcibly dragged to success. Right? Even if you don't want, you have to become pure devotee. Sorry. There is no return. There is no U-turn in this path of bhakti. We have to get purified. So we should not never lose hope thinking, if these devotees can't do, how can I make my life perfect? No problem. We should never ever think, oh, it is not for me. The path of bhakti is path of hope. Because anyways, this world is all hopeless. There is only hope is Krishna consciousness. So we should never think, why these devotees are not able to practice? If they are not able to practice, how will I practice? We should never think like that. There is a hope for everyone. Krishna has never given up on anyone so far. That is a good thing. We may give up on someone. It is so very difficult to, not give up. I know one of my known person. I was following up with him and then he was not responding. Then I gave up. For many months I tried. He's not calling back. He's not responding to messages. I gave up. Then I was thinking, Krishna is so merciful. He has never given up on anyone so far. Even if somebody gives all the bad words to Krishna, even if somebody doesn't accept the existence of Krishna, still Krishna doesn't give up. So that is our hope. He never gives up on anyone. And even if Krishna gives up, Mahaprabhu is there. Mahaprabhu has come to deliver all the fallen people only. Papayati yatchilo harinam uddharilo tarasakshi jagaye madhaye. He gupta bhava sindhu brahma napa eka bindu hina dhana bilaila samsare. Aiche dayalu avatar, aiche data nahi ar guna keha nare varnibare. Who can be more merciful than Mahaprabhu? He gave mercy like he distributed nectar like water. And even if Mahaprabhu gives up, that will never happen. If Mahaprabhu also gives up on someone, then what's the hope? Then devotees are the hope. Mahaprabhu rejected Kal Krishna Das. Devotees didn't give up. Nityananda, Jagadananda, Mukunda Damodar, Charijane, Yukti Tabe, Korilantar. Devotees are thinking how to engage him in service again. Mahaprabhu just rejected him and he said, just take him away. I don't want to see his face. Kal Krishna started crying. Etabuli Krishnadas Kandite Lagila Madhyan Karite Mahaprabhu Chaligila. Mahaprabhu left. Krishnadas is crying. What will happen to me? Mahaprabhu has rejected me. Devotees engaged him. You go and serve Shachi Devi. So the path of bhakti is full of hope. There is nobody who can say I have no hope. If somebody feels like that, that means we have not understood Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of bhakti, path of hope. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for that beautiful answer. Shyamagori Mataji, you wanted to ask something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very wonderful class. So many verses put it, and Prabhuji, very nice instruction of how to look at the situation, the devotional way, not the political way or not the other way. The devotional way, devotees has to look at the situation. So that's very
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your time and association. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Rich.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, when we are continuously hearing these things and when we start, if we think that we have to respond in a devotee way and everything happens because Krishna's hand is there behind, when some difficulty comes or all these things comes, there is some, is there chance that you feel happy that your karma is getting cleared? Yeah, something is okay. Yes, I wanted this humiliation. Is there a stage or is it a good thing that that kind of thought comes?
Whatever happens in the life of a devotee is orchestrated by Krishna. And that way we can always, be happy that Krishna is reciprocating. He is trying to make me a better devotee. That is the consciousness a devotee should have always. Devotees don't suffer because of their karma. Devotees suffer because of their aparadh, and because Krishna wants them to be in that situation so that they become more strong. So you can call that also karma. Aparadh is also an activity. But, we have to understand this is not the karma as we see previous sinful activities. This is the karma of aparadh. So Krishna is trying to always instruct us, purify us, rectify us, so that we can become a better devotee. And if we can become happy, that is great. It's like Kunti Maharani, she's saying, oh, please give me more problems. Chalega. Vipada Sanduta Shasya Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru. I am not in that situation. Whenever I quote that verse, I say this is Kunti Maharani speaking. So, when we are happy, oh, problems are coming. Okay, maybe Krishna is reciprocating. That is great. That is actually the case. And the more we thank Krishna in our good times, the more we thank Krishna, we will thank Krishna when bad times will come. To that extent, we'll thank Krishna. So we have to be really aware of this reality. And the more we are purified, the more we will give good response, devotional response. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. There are few chat questions. Would you like to take, Prabhuji? You have time?
Yeah, I can take one.
Yes, Prabhuji. One thing is like in general, they are asking how to see the situation in Bangladesh in a devotional way.
As I spoke the whole class on this, we have to be really careful as a simple devotee practicing Krishna consciousness. We should always be careful of speaking and discussing about these subject matters, because these subject matters are really volatile, inflammable, full of passion, full of feelings. Whenever we want to know this, how should we respond? We should see how our authorities are responding, what GBCs are saying, what ISKCON Bureau is saying, what our communication, department is saying. Are they speaking some strong words? If no, then we should be silent. Because most of us don't know the ground reality. Most of us are just hearing what we are seeing in the news. Things are going wrong. And this has always been the case. Some religion is always having some difficulty with other religion. We should always understand What is our founder Acharya speaking? When Srila Prabhupada met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, what he said? He gave a political reason. India is a dependent country. Who will hear your words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What did Saraswati Thakur say? Krishna consciousness can't wait for governments. Governments will keep changing. Krishna consciousness is eternal. We have to be really careful what is occupying our consciousness. It is one thing to know about the situation. Other thing is to be obsessed by the details of the situation. Our problem is because now we have access to social media, smartphones, YouTube, news. We are getting obsessed with these informations. It is not needed. As a practicing sadhaka, a simple devotee, what I am supposed to do? Getting information is not our job. If we are supposed to do something, we'll be told by the authorities, we'll be told by our seniors and GBCs. The problem is, we think, I should do something because so many things are happening. Why authorities are not doing anything? That means we think, yeah, they are all foolish people, it seems. They're not doing anything. We should understand if they're not doing anything, there must be something in that. That much faith we should have in our authorities. Rather than absorbing our mind and consciousness in the information which we are getting, just basic information is sufficient. What is happening? We should not get into the details of the information. That will just overwhelm our consciousness with negativity, ill feelings. Have Prabhupada spoken any time ill about any religion? Even if do you think other religion was not existing when Prabhupada was preaching? They were not harming, Indians, Hindus. Prabhupada never spoke anything. Why? We have to be really careful what we are supposed to do. What is our goal? Our goal should be very clear. Just because we have a right to speak something on social media, we should not use it. It is not recommended for a practicing devotee. Anyways, it will not make any difference. What will happen maximum is, it will just consume our consciousness with those thoughts. And where will Krishna go then? How will Krishna enter our mind? So we have to be really careful. If our seniors are not speaking much, they are doing a lot to rectify the situation. But they know how much information to be given to an ordinary sadhaka like us. If they think that some more information should be given, we should act in a certain way, then they'll definitely tell us. That much faith we should have on the GBCs, on our authorities. If we can't have that much faith, then there is some problem. The situation is really inflammable. There's no doubt about it. But we should be very careful what we are supposed to do as an institution, the followers of ISKCON. What is our responsibility? What should be our mood? What should be our actions? That we should ask our authorities. If they say something, we should act accordingly. Personally, we should not read all the news, all the informations, all the negativity. It is not needed. Some simple information is sufficient. What is happening? Scrolling the news, YouTube reports, videos after videos, and keep seeing all the videos, it just consumes our consciousness with negativity. Nothing else. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this very convincing answer. Yes, one thing is always there in our hand to pray for. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah,
Thank you.
also,
I'll stop.
yes, Prabhuji. We'll pay obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhu bhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. HG Gaur Villas Prabhuji ki jai.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe. Thank you.
Gauranga.
Radhe.
Thank you, dear